first, we got to get into this week's releases. So why don't you take us through Marvel, Joseph?
Light week from Marvel, right? This was like the part of the solicit that I think, helped to shave some time off the back end.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because this is I think Image has more. Image has almost double the books coming out this week. But be that as it may, for Tax Day, from Marvel Comics, we have the Ultimate. Nope, save that one. We have X-Men United issue 2. We have Venom issue 257. Magic and Colossus issue 3. Alias Red Band issue 2. Inglorious X-Force issue 4. Storm, Earth's Mightiest Mutant issue 3. Imperial Guardians issue 2. I think I did that last time too. Godzilla Infinity Roar issue 3. Planet of the Apes versus Fantastic Four issue 3. I was so excited to get through that. I just, messed it up all over the place, Nicholas. But what is the book you would like to discuss?
I was like, Imperial Garden, is that I feel like that's a thing. I just did a quick look, and it's like there's like an Imperial Garden in Hanover. I don't think
there's there was a comic I read, Paranoid Gardens, which was fantastic.
Oh, that's right. Well, I'll take it a step further. Before we were on here, I was actually listening to Soundgarden. So
which Soundgarden?
Let me see. I have it right. It was Fell on Black Days.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Yep. I was like, I've been listening to a lot of. I always listen to a lot of Alter Bridge, but I've been listening to a lot lately because they got a concert coming up, but that I'm going to be going to. But I was like, I think I need a little Soundgarden right now. So it's funny.
Put on a little Down on the Upside. Great album. Great Soundgarden album.
Okay. Nice. I've listened to some of them, but not nearly enough. I've been diving into a lot more of like the bands that I like, their influences, and Soundgarden's one of them. So like I've been like finally like I've heard some through the years, but just never appreciated them enough, and now I am. So I'm gonna definitely take you up on that. Thank you. But the book that I'm talking about, I'm just talking more Chris Condon. This is the Chris Condon episode, everybody. Chris Condon's Ultimate Wolverine, which of course is illustrated by Alessandro Capuccio, who I'll be talking about in a second, but that is coming to an end this week with issue 16. We had talked about it a while back, and I remember once we realized, oh fuck, issue 16 is the end, I was like, I got to make sure that I check this out because I want to talk about it, because we have loved this series, and we've talked about how the Absolute Universe at DC has obviously like really done well when you put it on its own, but also in comparison to the Ultimate Universe over at Marvel. We obviously have some titles that we've liked over there, and I know other people like some of the other titles as well in the Ultimate Universe. My favorite, I haven't read Ultimate Spider-Man yet, but Ultimate Wolverine has been my favorite, and it's just so up both of our alleys, quite honestly. And it's weird to me to think that this is a really good Wolverine story, and somehow it feels really underrated. And I think that's partly because of just like the general view of Marvel versus DC right now, and that shit happens. But I'm telling you right now, this is a book that, when in trade form, like over the years, I'm going to reread this. I have some of this in my collection already, and I'm absolutely going to want to go back and check this out because I loved it from start to finish. I mean, Capuccio's art alone was marvelous. His action sequences, you guys heard me talk about it when I did the Moon Knight breakdown, and it's just, his shit is so fucking impressive. And Rosenberg, who does his colors, like I've said it before, Capuccio should not have anybody else doing colors on any of his work. Like, they are such a perfect pairing. And she'll always be underrated, but Rosenberg does an outstanding job. And I thought that Chris, from start to finish, showed an amazing command for Wolverine while also adjusting the character for being in like this alternate universe in this like Winter Soldier kind of setting. And as far as like the story goes, because it's going to be like they have the ultimate endgame that's going to be happening, Chris does a great job of landing the plane on the larger Wolverine story that's going on, in these last two issues, like bringing the focus back to this larger plot as he's mixed in a lot of characters along the way. I've really enjoyed how he mixed in everybody, and whether it was like for one issue or for a few issues at a time, all the major and smaller X-Men characters that he mixed in. I thought Chris did a great job. I really did, and same with Alessandro Capuccio.
Yeah, you could read Ultimate Wolverine as a standalone thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not know what's going on in the greater, Ultimate Universe, and have it be one of your favorite comics, right? That's
Absolutely.
how well, Chris wrote it, and that's how great of a story it is. We sort of talked about this, before. I think the real difference between, the Ultimate Universe and the Absolute Universe is that Ultimate Universe, yeah, it came first, and I think they had a really great grand idea.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is they just, I think, as a whole, sort of, it just didn't connect, and it ultimately didn't all come together. Right, with the Absolute Universe, yeah, you've got all these different titles, and you've got like a little bit of crossover, right, between
Yeah.
Batman, Wonder, but in part, it's like you're in this universe, you're getting these different titles, and they've all, for their own, for different reasons, have all kicked ass. I think with the Ultimate Universe, there's still like this overarching connective tissue of the Maker, and
Yeah.
unless you were reading like the main line, I think some of these other ones kind of, unfortunately, fell by the wayside. Is not the right term, but you know what I mean. Like Ultimate Wolverine, like got started into the game later than some of the other titles. Like Ultimate Spider-Man, right, was right there,
Right.
right off the rip. And so I think that it just,
People love that book.
yeah, I think it just lacked a total cohesiveness as a universe. Whereas the Absolute Universe, even though they're all separate from each other, feel lockstep, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
I think no. I think you're really onto something there, because it's funny because, huh? I mean, this is maybe a little bit much of me to say, but I feel like you've stumbled upon like why the Ultimate Universe didn't do as well and why the Absolute Universe is doing really well. Because it's weird. Like with the Absolute Universe, you do have a level of overarchingness with Darkseid. But at the same time, like you had it more so in DCKO, it's not really talked about in the Absolute Universe. It's like you wouldn't even know reading any of the Absolute titles. So you have that. But and while all 6 titles that we've gotten so far have been their own thing and different, they all have like a boldness to them where they're still respecting the character, but like this is a whole fucking new thing with all of them, and they're respecting the old stuff. Like obviously Batman does a lot of that, but it's still making it its own thing. Whereas with the Ultimate Universe, there is a boldness and some interesting changes. Obviously, Absolute Spider-Man you've talked about in detail, and Ultimate Wolverine, we know how like that's there, but it does feel like there's a little bit too much tethered to the Maker. So like where there's like one has the overarching like plot point that's like kind of there, but it's more about the connectedness with the vibes, and then the other one is kind of the inverse, where it does have like the boldness vibes, but it's it's larger from the plot standpoint, and that kind of weighs it down.
Yeah, I just think like 100%, 100%, and also too like when you read Spider-Man, when you read Ultimate Spider-Man, when you read Ultimate Wolverine, in the beginning it always gives you the paragraphs, the Maker, ba 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 ba. But
Yeah.
then when you're reading those titles, you don't get any of the Maker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not mentioned. It's hardly mentioned at all in Spider-Man. I don't think the Maker's mentioned at all in Wolverine, right? So you have to read like the main to really.
Yep.
So like that was, I think, to me, the miss, right?
Yeah.
Now, Ultimate Spider-Man was fantastic. Ultimate Wolverine was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Absolute Universe, right? It's like I didn't read any of the KO stuff, so like.
Right, you don't have to.
Right, no.
Like I've said there's like as an absolute fan, like you might want to check it out, but at the same time,
Right.
like you don't have to read that.
But I read the Absolute Universe. I just know that I'm getting a wonderful new take on these characters, and I love it. Right, and I can enjoy that. And I don't have to read all the titles. I feel like I loved Wolverine, Ultimate Wolverine. I loved Ultimate Spider-Man. I feel like I missed everything by not reading all the other stuff. And,
Yeah.
So
That's-
that like doesn't take away from my enjoyment of those books, but takes away from my overall sort of enjoyment of what that universe was supposed to be.
Yeah, because That's really funny. Like, because even where we're like with some of these other like certain absolute titles, where like you like aren't in on absolute Martian Manhunter. We've both kind of fallen off on Absolute Flash. We've both like had moments where we've struggled with Absolute Green Lantern, but like we still love the top three. I like Absolute Martian Manhunter. We're both you're excited about the Absolute Green Arrow title too, right? Yeah, we're both excited about that. So there's all like they bring in a new one. It's like, okay, we're excited about it. Oh, this is cool. All this different stuff. But with these other ones, it was like, it really shows though. Like we don't talk about vibes a lot, like in the in our breakdowns. Like I don't feel like either of us do. Not in that specific term, but we do talk about the tone and the emotion, which is all has to do with the vibes. But like it's really like this conversation is really saying to me like vibes matter a fuck ton. And I know like James Tynion talks about that a lot, and obviously like he's done pretty well for himself in the past like decade or so in comics, and he's like vibes, man. Like that's such a big thing. You can't just be that, but it's really fucking important.
Sure is. Right?
I'm blown away by how we've just like
poise matters.
Yeah, yes it does. I'm blown away. I'm absolutely fucking blown away how we just went through that.
Creative exercise, Nicholas, is what we bring to the table.
Yeah. 100%. All right, what do we got from DC this week? Oh wait, no, it's me. I do DC.
Come on.
Sorry, I'm over here like, why is he not saying the DC titles? It's fun. Sorry.
Amateur hour.
From DC, we got Nightwing issue 137, New Titans issue 34, Lobo issue 2, Wonder Woman issue 32, Deathstroke the Terminator issue 2, Batwoman issue 2, which by the way, of those 3 issue 2s of the new titles that we've got from DC, Batwoman this week had the best issue. I really like that title right now. Superman, and I like the other two too, don't get me wrong, but Batwoman I think is moved to the top of the pile for me. Superman Unlimited issue 2, Catwoman issue 86, Mad 49. We have Supergirl the World Special Edition, DC Fitness presents Superman Time and Time Again Special Edition, Supergirl's Superheroes, Joe's favorite, Krypto's Big Break Special Edition. And then we got 2 titles. We got a Vertigo title out this week that I know you want to discuss. Why don't we go there?
Real quick, did you read Lobo?
I did read Lobo, yes.
So, remember, like, with issue 1, like, talking about it, like, took me a little while to get into it, and then I loved this entire issue, start to finish. It's fucking excellent.
Yeah, it was, if you are that makes total sense. If you liked the second half of Lobo more, you're gonna love this week's issue, and it was fun. I really liked it. Those 3 titles all have like an absolute universe energy to them, where there's like this boldness and this edge to them in various ways. But yeah, Lobo was a fun one.
Yeah. But anyways, the book I want to discuss this week is End of Life issue 3, written by Kyle Starks with art by Steve Pugh. And man, this is this and Ezra Kane, right, have been my 2 favorite books that Vertigo is started with their relaunch here, and I love Kyle Starks so much. He's just the dude. He's got such a great sense of humor, and can be so violent at the same time, right? There's just this this ridiculousness to a lot of his books that I absolutely love. Like, what's the serial killer book he wrote, where they all live in the same neighborhood?
Oh, shoot. I actually don't remember the name of that book. I'll find it for you real quick.
But like, he's just like, he takes these like gruesome characters, right, and then just you do nothing but laugh.
That was Not Afraid. That's what it is.
Yeah, right. No, not that one. The other one there with the he's coming out with the Kickstarter for it.
Where Monsters Lie.
Yeah. Right. Like, it's just like, he's an absolute wild writer with this great sense of humor, and at End of Life, just like, it puts this big smile on my face, while at the same time it's just like, it's a really vicious story, and Steve Pugh's character design of the chicken-headed man.
Yeah.
Was so outrageous. I was just like, this is awesome, because he did a really great job with the art where when you first see this character, you think it's just sort of like this regular sized dude just wearing this ridiculous mask, but then all of a sudden he like stands up and he's just like this gargantuan human being. But the character of Eddie, right? I've never rooted for and also wanted to punch a character so bad in my life. Like, I love this guy, but he's an absolute schmuck.
He really is.
I get why his dad's like, if you're not out of my house in the morning, I'm going to kill you. And but Kyle just like he just writes these great characters, and there's like a lot of complexity in these characters, right? Because I just said Eddie, right? He's a character that you want to root for, right? And he's kind of badass, but he's also a really smug prick. But there's also like a tender side to him, right? Like there's a slight humane side to him, right? And we get that a little bit, but I mean I just love this story of it's a story of sort of like this screwed up father-son relationship, a guy on the run because he robbed the wrong person, and now they're after him, right? It's just like it's so good, and Steve Pugh's art is fantastic. The action scenes are great, the storytelling is fantastic. Like this is to me a quintessential Vertigo title. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and Steve Pugh really is. I mean, they've worked together obviously on Peacemaker Tries Hard, which we talked about in detail on the show, and is so good. And I can see how like DC getting that from this creative team would cause them to be like, hey, like once you hear about Eddie Stallion, like, oh yeah, like we're definitely like this, you guys got this, like 100%. But Steve Pugh does such a good job of mixing like comedy and action and giving a like this aesthetic that nobody else really gives in the business right now. So I'm really enjoying his work. Like you said, like the chicken dude, like I knew when we saw him, and then as things progressed, I'm like, Joe's gonna fucking love this character. But I just, the only other thing I wanted to add is like, I really feel like, so we've only gotten 3 issues, of course, but I really feel like each issue has been more outrageous than the previous one. And this started out in a pretty like outrageous note. So I think that right now, like if you've like the End of Life is a book that I don't feel like we're getting much like this in the market right now. So like if you're looking for, like Joe said, if you're looking for a guy who's like who you can root for, but you also want a clock, like you need to be reading End of Life, plain and simple.
Yeah, it is so effing good.
Now there's a DC title that we wanted to talk about, this little startup joint called Absolute Batman, issue 19 this week. Nobody's talking about this one. Scott Snyder is the writer. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of him. Nick Dragata is the artist. And the biggest thing for me, Joe, was we get Absolute Scarecrow. We've known we're going to get Absolute Scarecrow. He's on the main cover, all this stuff. We get him in his intro was so damn good. I think that was the best introduction that a character has gotten in Absolute Batman so far. He is terrifying and also really badass. Really fucking twisted, and I cannot wait to see more with this character. But like, I think this is my favorite villain so far, even though we've just met this character in the Absolute Batman.
Well, I was just about to say, hands down. Now, Absolute Freeze was terrifying, right?
Yes.
And Absolute Bane was just absolutely like monstrous. And then you've got Penguin and all those guys are a bit grotesque, right? But Absolute Scarecrow is not only my favorite, but I think of all of some of Scott's more iconic villains that he's created. I think he terrifies me the most, and that's saying something, because I thought the Batman Who Laughs, like that haunted me, like legit. Yeah. But there's terrifying something about Dragata's design, right? The Scarecrow mask is absolutely fucking terrifying, but it's the way, there's just something.
It's the movement and the fact that he's like the Slim Reaper. Like he's just like this skinny dude, and this everybody's all jacked up out of their minds, and then here's Scarecrow. Yeah, it's also like a great sort of take on the fear toxin, because you don't actually see any. It's just like his sheer presence.
Like, read the book, you'll understand. It's like he's like one of those folk tales, like those horror folk
Yes.
tales, right?
Yeah. Yes, it feels
Where
like that.
he's just there, and then bad shit happens, right?
Yes. Yes.
So good.
100%. And there's a lot more that happens in this issue too, but the other thing I did want to add is that like there's a moment where, and this is the first time I think that this happened in Absolute Batman, Bruce broke my heart. Like I was like, motherfucker, what are you doing?
Yeah,
And it upset me, and I'm sure it's
Yeah.
going to upset other readers as well. And it's playing into this larger subplot that we've talked about in various degrees previously, and I cannot wait for that subplot to move to the forefront, because I just think that's going to be the story that we all like. We've had so much that will be like, oh, like Scott's doing a great job, Nick Strauss doing a great job. Like, I think when this subplot becomes the A plot, that's going to be the shit that we remember most from this series.
Well, it's classic. Bruce can be his own worst enemy sometimes, right?
For fucking real, dude.
It pissed me off, if we're being honest.
Yes. Gosh. But let's move over to some of these other ones. I know you got a Dark Horse title, but first I want to mention, boom, we got Wind, The Power of Blood issue 8. That is out. I got that review copy very late in the game, so it's up now for you to check out, Joe. But we get the 8th issue of that, which I looked at the description, pretty pivotal issue, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it's the penultimate issue, perhaps.
Oh,
or
okay.
The last. I mean, it's coming to an end here. This is the third part of that, the third and final part of that series. So, shit's been going down. Shit's been going down. Excellent series there. But from Dark Horse, impactful week from Dark Horse. We have The Witcher Bloodstone issue 3. Holy cow! Did you read this issue yet?
I opted to read one of the actual Witcher books this weekend instead of this. So, no.
Oh, I'm telling you.
I know.
This issue's going to break your fucking heart.
Ooh, really?
It's going to break your fucking heart.
Fuck. Okay.
Yeah. The Witcher Bloodstone issue 3, Night City issue 3, Resident Alien, One More for the Road issue 1. But the book I want to discuss this week is one of my favorites, and Zach's the fucking man, because he sent us both some awesome shit. You know, we got some preview pictures for the volume 3 of Kill All Immortals, some Ashcan. So, but he's got a whole bunch of stuff coming out soon. That we will
be doing a review on that Ashcan on
Yeah.
Instagram, TikTok at some point.
Yeah.
Like, there's one of his other titles I got announced at Dark Horse for later in the year. We'll be doing something on that for sure.
Yeah. So, like, the fact that we now know that we're getting a third volume of Kill All Immortals, it's just like, it's Boner City. But this week was Kill All Immortals volume 2 issue 4 with art by Fico Asio. And man, I love his art.
It's not Fico anymore. It's Marco Itri.
Oh,
yes.
That's dope. Why did I write down? Because
you just it's that.
I went by League of Comic Geeks. My bad. The artwork still fantastic.
Yes, very much so.
This issue was awesome, absolutely awesome, and I love that Freya is she's found a little something.
Poof.
She rediscovered a little something, and you know, I said this back in when we talked to Zach, you know, about Kill All Immortals the first time. I said there's a little bit of Erica Slaughter in Freya, and we get that in spades this issue, and this was a violent issue. This was maybe my favorite issue of the series so far. I love it when characters sort of reach that boiling point, right? And they, you know, there's a line that they're not going to cross, but you know what? Fuck it. They're going to cross it. And that happened with another one of the characters too. He was just like, okay, I'm in. And so this was a high octane. This was an action-packed issue of one of my favorite series. Artwork, the writing, everything about it, the colors, is so good. So Kill All Immortals, Volume 2, Issue 4. If you haven't been reading it, folks, come on. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, and to add to like Frey getting pushed to the brink, like I think that, obviously these next two issues, I'm excited to see how that's going to manifest. But also just knowing, like, okay, we're getting a third volume of Kill All Immortals. We know there's more to the story, but like we don't know what it is going to be. But knowing that she's like, all right, she's hit fuck it, and like we're gonna see how that transpires over the next couple issues. Then there's gonna be a third volume. What is it gonna look like after she hits fuck it? Like, is she still gonna be in that mode, or is she gonna like be having to deal with like serious repercussions from all of this? So I'm just very excited. I'm really glad that we know we're getting this third volume.
You want to know my theory? She becomes the new head of the family.
I could see that. The question is, though, is she going to be immortal or not?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think
All
so.
right.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. But we'll see.
That'll be interesting. Yes.
We'll
I'm excited. I'm excited either way. All right. From Mad Cave, we got the continuation of Racer X. Issue 6 is out this week. Another fucking outstanding issue. Gotcha Man, issue 17. Where Does the Rainbow End? Issue 4. And then from IDW, we got Shredder, issue 7. Smile for the Camera, issue 2, which has some terrifying covers, as Joe has brought to my attention. Tales of the TMNT, issue 5. Monster High, Bermuda Triangle, issue 3. And The Rocketeer, IDW Classics, issue 1.
All right. So, let's see. From Vault, thank you, Nicholas. We have Nectar, issue 2. From Titan, Escape from Skull Island, issue 3. Lenore, Muffin Else Matters, issue 1. I fucking love that. I fucking love it. I a lot of times like that's fucking stupid. No, that's fucking excellent. From Dynamite, we have Vampirella Armageddon, issue 10. We have Mum Ra, The Ever Living, issue 1, written by Declan Shalvey with art by Rafa Labosco. This, Nicholas, I know that you got all caught up on Thundercats. I don't know if you read any of the Thundercats Silver Hawks stuff yet, but this issue of Mum Ra, this was a Mum Ra origin story. This was awesome. This was really good.
Had you gotten that like previously on like in the Thundercat show kind of thing? Was that ever a thing?
I mean, not that I'm aware of.
I would think no.
There's a lot that I forget, but no, this to me at least introduced an element that I was very new with. And,
nice. That's why you gotta do it.
And it goes back. There's not just Third Earth, but you get. I mean, you got to read it.
Ooh,
this was excellent.
Ooh,
this was excellent, Nicholas. I think you would enjoy that very much. And then from what do we got from Oni, my friend?
We got Catacomb of Torment, issue 7, and then a book that we both talked about wanting to check out. We weren't able to check out the first issue initially, but I have since amended that. Dead Teenagers, issue 2, which is written by Jude Ellison S. Doyle, who we know from Be Not Afraid over at Boom Studios, which we both really love. That was a fucking haunting story. And then art by Caitlin Yarsky, who I enjoy her art too, but I know you are a big fan of Caitlin Yarsky. This is something that you're going to want to check out, Joe. I'm not calling dibs on this one, but I do like this series so far. We get these. We're in this kind of like Groundhog Day situation where you have these characters who are in a time loop on prom night, and in the first issue, it's all about the chaos of like reliving this prom night and all the different things that happened, and all these characters remember like that. Like, hey, we're stuck in this situation, and they're trying to figure it out as things go along, and then they break out. Like something has happened where like the loop is over, but now it's a whole nother different weird situation that's happened. And that's what this second issue is focused on. And for me, this has been like a trippy ass ride the whole time. Like for me, it's all about figuring out what the fuck is going on, because the characters are interesting, and now they've got an odd dynamic going on in the second issue. But I really want to know like how the fuck, like why the fuck did there's like this, like it's the end of the first issue. I can talk about the second issue. Like there's like a time jump that happens, and I'm just like, how the fuck did that happen? And they have no fucking clue what's going on at this point either. So we're figuring out as we go along. But just I'm excited because we know Jude Ellison S. Doyle is a good writer and has shown that in these first two issues once again. I just can't wait to see like what's the payoff at the end of all of this. So Dead Teenagers from Oni Press. If you hadn't checked out that first issue, try and find a copy. But the second issue out this week, you want to check that one out.
Yeah, I got to do that. It's a hell of a creative team, Nicholas. Mm-hmm. That's a hell of a creative team.
I think you are going to like that one. From Image and Skybound, we got Invincible Universe Battle Beast, issue 8. Have you been reading this one or no, Joe?
I have not.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Do it.
It's going to be... Well, no. It's such a fun, like, punch 'em up kind of thing. But maybe I can find a way to talk about that. I can talk about Sunshine. It's really fucking good. I love this series. Okay, I'll add it to my dibs list. From then we got G.I. Joe issue 21, Redcoat issue 17, fucking powering along, Ice Cream Man issue 14, The Walking Dead Deluxe issue 135, The Scorched issue 50, Ghost Pepper issue 10, Witchblade issue 20, Lost Fantasy issue 9, Rat City issue 24, Narco issue 2, which we really enjoyed that first issue. I also really enjoyed that second issue. Did you like this week's too?
Excellent.
Super Creep Show issue 2, Sam and Twitch Case Files issue 23, Tigress Island issue 2, which the first issue, I said how I liked it, and I know that one sold out. I wasn't like this one that blew me away, but I did like it. The second issue was also like on a similar level. This was good. If you like the first one, you're gonna like the second one. We got Malevolent issue 3, Fireborn issue 1, G.I. Joe: A Real American Hero, Silent Missions, Zartan issue 1. That is a mouthful. The Darkness versus Angelus issue 1. And then The Return of Radiant Black, we got issue 41. But there is one last book, Joe, that I am behind on this now, so I can't weigh in, unfortunately. But you are also reading it and wanted to discuss.
Yeah, this is... Nicholas, you got to catch up. And that's the thing on The Doorstep, issue 3. This is an H.P. Lovecraft story, but it's being written by Simon Burks with art by Wiki Roberts. I didn't fix it in the fight. I fixed it and unfixed it and fixed it back. Willie Roberts. I was typing it in before the show, and I go, "Oh, Wiki Roberts, that's not right. Let me fix that to Willie Roberts," and then I just retyped Wiki Roberts again.
Oh my gosh, I didn't see that. That's amazing.
Written by Simon Burks, art by Willie Roberts. Man, this book is a quintessential TLDR horror book, right? And so we've got some really great characters here. I mean, Simon Burks he's a great storyteller. And this is a really dark, macabre story where revolving around our two main characters, Edward, who, through the first two issues, you learn more and more about, especially in that first issue when, as a kid, he's weird, he's a loner, he's into the macabre, he's into the occult and stuff like that. And so you really start to see his descent, into madness, over the course of the next, few issues. And this issue in particular, this was a really sort of terrifying issue because you have Edward who it seems like he's becoming possessed, and his wife, who you're introduced in the first and second issues, there's something very demonic about her, but it's not until this issue where it really starts to come into focus, and I just. It's a story that takes place in like the late, the 1920s, early 1930s, and so Willie's art really captures that period of time, and I think does a really good job. It's very gothic, and really just sort of captures this mood, of just like something absolutely batshit insane's about to go down, and you have your other main character Daniel, who is Edward's best friend, who's doing everything he can to help him, but I think reaches a point. It's like, shit, this guy's fucking nuts, and not great, Bob. Not great.
Okay.
Bob. Because like in the first two issues, like he's really sort of overlooked a lot of the telltale signs that his friend just isn't right, and it finally dawns on him that something's going on, and so like this is your occulty, demonic type horror story that's just told really, really well, paced really, really well, and I don't even think we've really gotten to the good stuff, which is wild. I think this
is wild.
This issue really is setting something up I think the next issue is just gonna be like, holy shit, you know. So the thing on the doorstep, issue 3. If you're a horror junkie, this is the book for you.